Hello and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So for today's guest is this incredible actress and model and martial artist known by the name of Stephanie Pham. So I'm going to introduce her into the live now and dive right into the questions. Hello.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. It's so early over here right now.
It's all good. So I'm going to introduce yourself and explain about what you do and then dive right in.
Okay. I think I heard you. Yeah, it kind of went in and out, but so hi everyone. My name is Stephanie. I am an actress, model, and YouTuber. I run the YouTube channel Art School Dropouts. We do a lot of martial arts, action comedy, short films, web series, and feature films. And I guess that's pretty much it.
Awesome. So, dive right into the questions. So, my first question, what was it like to the Legends core of New Beginning and what did you learn from the experience?
Okay, so Legend of Korra New Begin, it was, it was also a fan film because the Last Airbender is such a huge just a huge show. I mean, everybody loves it. They have a huge fan base, and when we were talking about it, we're like, oh my god, I could kind of look like Asami. And Angela, AJ Kick 101, if you guys don't know, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I think she's only 30 away. She looks like Korra, so we thought, hey, we might as well just give it a try. And so Joey, who is our director and creative head for our YouTube channel, he handles everything. He wrote the scripts, and it was interesting because it was the first project that I guess first big project that I had to do with Joey and Angela, and it turned out pretty well. It was the first time I actually had to shoot something that was legit, so it was super stressful. But it turned out pretty well, and we made the poster. Yeah, right over there. We made the poster, and we put it out on Facebook, and it was funny because when we first put it out, it literally says fan film on the poster, but a lot of people, they assumed that M. Night Shyamalan was doing it again. So we got a lot of hate. We were like, oh my god, it's happening, what the heck? And it's it's this fan film. So we ended up getting a lot of shares on it. I mean, bad publicity is still publicity, right? So yeah, and yeah, it was just one of those strange experiences, but it was fun. It's worth it.
Awesome. So my next question. You also filmed this series called the Omega series. What was it like working on that?
Oh my gosh, the Omega series. So that was so it's supposed to be an episodic web series, but I think we only were able to produce one episode, and the production was by Stephen Michael Studios. And it was the first time working with them, and I remember going into the casting call because I was like, oh, it's an action thing. I would love to do this. And I was talking with Steven, and he was super, super chill. And he asked me to read through and do some pics, and he was like, all right, you're cast. And I was like, what? That's it? I was like, that's so cool. And also getting the makeup done and the mask and just the wardrobe was pretty awesome. I mean, it's not the typical hey, we want you to wear practically nothing ninja assassin type. So yeah, it was fun. I'm hoping that they are able to produce more episodes and bring me back, but we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So for my next question, who inspired you to get into acting, modeling, and martial arts?
Oh, I guess it's not really like anybody inspired me. It's kind of like, just life takes you for, I don't know, a trip. Um, so when I was younger, I started Taekwondo when I was 7, and my dad had always wanted my brother and I to start martial arts, like just get involved somehow. And my first day in Taekwondo class, I cried because I didn't want to do it. I mean, it was people hitting each other, and I was like, this is violent, this is like scary. And then after a while, I started loving it, and then I became obsessed. So that's kind of how I got started in martial arts. I mean, my dad always made us watch like 80s martial arts, Hong Kong films and whatnot. So it wasn't too foreign to me. And then the modeling part was when I got into college. So right before college, I had done a pageant. It was the National American Miss pageant. And I got, I think it was like fourth runner up in Pennsylvania. And then I went to nationals, didn't place, but because of that experience, I got offered to go to acting and modeling school on like Sundays or whatever. So I did that for 10 weeks, got certified as a model. But the thing is, when you go to one of those schools, they don't really help you get any jobs. So afterwards, I was like, you know what? I don't want to waste like the money that my parents had put into me doing modeling. So since I was in college anyways, and I couldn't train Taekwondo, it kind of replaced Taekwondo for me for a bit. So I started modeling and started doing like more like free work just to kind of learn how to model. And then eventually, I mean, 10 years later, I'm still doing it. But then after college and I graduated and everything, I worked corporate for a little bit. But then I was like, you know what? I want to do acting. And yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
Awesome. So for my next question, uh, you also worked on Power Rangers Unworthy. What was that experience like for you?
Okay, so I've played the role of Scorpina in the first episode, I believe. Um, One, we were outside, and I guess the area that they had put us in, because it was produced by Unworthy Productions, like there were ticks out there, and we didn't know, so we like panicked after we had like found out, and we're like, okay, everybody check yourselves when you get home and whatnot. And the costume actually looked pretty good. It was interesting because like, Scorpio's got like that crazy laugh and she's evil and what. So I was like, okay, gotta commit to this. And like it kind of hurt a little bit just to laugh that way, but it worked out pretty well, I think. And with like the special effects, and I mean, I think Power Ranger type films are a little bit easier because it's mostly like special effects. So it's not like super intense choreography. It's a lot of just like a lot of cuts, a lot of special effects. But it was fun.
Awesome. So for my next question, you also worked on, well, done some work, a bit of work with martial arts under like Red Tiger, Taekwondo. What was that experience like for you?
Oh my god. Okay, now you're going into like the history of my martial arts background. So, like I said, I had started Taekwondo back when I was like 7 years old. So when I first started out, didn't want to do it, but then I started loving it. Then at one point, I like literally became obsessed with it. It was like one of those things that I felt I was only good at Taekwondo. And I wanted to become a world champion. So my school, Red Tiger Taekwondo, like they had what's called black belt classes and also team training. So I would go to all the black belt classes. I would go to all the team trainings because they would actually prepare us to go to the world championships. And with that too, I like I wanted to go to the world championship so bad. used to train like, oh my God, like 6 hours a day. Like taking rest days was not existent. It was weird, and I would go through withdrawal when I like don't train. So college was torture because I couldn't train as often. But I went to my first world championships. I went for one category, which was forms, and I lost to. Who did I lose to? I forget who I lost to. Netherlands? I don't know. But then I went to my next world championship, and at this point, I was considered a adult, not a junior anymore. So I went for a lot of categories, which was a huge mistake because I basically competed multiple times every day for like those 4 days. I went for forms, sparring, team sparring, individual power breaking, individual specialty breaking, team power breaking, and team specialty breaking. So I went for like 7 categories out of the out of the 9 possible that you can go for. And I ended up getting 2 bronze at the end of the day, but it was exhausting. And I also sprained my ankle when I was sparring. I was fighting Greece, and I had sprained my ankle and still ended up trying to finish all the other categories I was in. And yeah, but if it wasn't for Red Tiger, I wouldn't be the person that I am today.
Nice. So for my next question, so with the other school dropouts, you also have done a bit of creating with the Lady Two. What was that like?
Lady Two is like, it's surprisingly a lot of people like Lady Two, which I mean, I love Lady Two too, but I guess it got a lot more attention than I had expected. The idea of Lady Two was this was something that I had asked Joey of, because since Joey takes care of all like the creatives and stuff, so he writes all the scripts, he does all the choreography, like everything. I asked him like, hey, I want like a very like serious and almost triggering role, because like, you know, women empowerment, and then there's like the women like being trafficked and whatnot, and I just want something that's kind of like in your face. So Joey helped write like the scripts and everything, and I was like, this is awesome. And oh my gosh, that production, we had so many problems. We had secured location, and we had talked to this guy. We secured location, and then 3 days before the shoot, he called me. He's like, okay, I tried using the key for location, but it seems like my uncle changed the locks or something, or I was told that he had sold the building. And we're like, and he was like, yeah, if you come out, we'll see if there's any other locations that can fit. So we went there, we found another location, and we're like, okay, fine, this works. And at that time, we were also getting help from our friend Jason, who is like way higher end equipment that costs like thousands and thousands of dollars. And we're like, okay, we wanted to like have everything set so he's not like stressed out or anything, and plus professionalism. So we go to set the day of, and the guy, he tries to open the door and it's locked. And we're like sitting there, we're like, what the heck? So then immediately like run to like the Airbnbs that I booked, which also the talent that was supposed to come in, like the bad guys that was supposed to come in to play Joey's role as like the main head guy and all the other bad guys, we booked Airbnbs for them to come up to shoot. But then when they read the scripts, a lot of like personal problems, I guess, and they ended up backing out. So we had empty Airbnbs for the weekend. So we ended up going to the Airbnb, trying to figure out like, okay, what's our next move? Luckily, we had a friend up in North Jersey that had a location. and it's actually called photo coop. It's called photo co-op just because it's funnier, but it's photo coop up in I think like Teaneck, New Jersey or something. So he let us use the location for the next like 2 days, and oh my gosh, it was crazy because it was supposed to be a 4 day shoot, 4 or 5 day shoot, and then now we had to condense it to 2 days. We booked Airbnbs in Philly that ended up not being used at all for the weekend, and then the original location Tuesday totally scrapped so that way we could go up to North Jersey, and I was exhausted just from like the planning and the production, and then also having like all of those problems, and then like Joey having to step in as the bad guy instead of staying behind the camera to direct, like, and to do that in 2 days. Like I remember like the final fight scene, I was exhausted, but I think it turned out really well. Obviously I wish that there were things that we could have done better, but given the time and all the crap that like happened, it was good.
Awesome. So for my next question, if you could be in any TV or movie franchise, what would it be and why?
Oh man, movie franchise. That's a good question. I've never gotten asked that. That's funny. Um, oh man, I feel like there's a honestly, I don't know if there's any like movie franchise, maybe like the old school like, Hong like stuff, but I mean, I love Maggie Q and Nikita. Like she's amazing. Um, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think there's. I mean, I know the obvious answer that most people would say is probably like Marvel. Actually, yeah, I could probably do Marvel. I mean, I do have like this Cindy Moon Silk cosplay, but I don't know. I think I would like to just have my own franchise, make my own stuff. But anything with Jet Li or Maggie Q or Jackie Chan or any of those. So.
So for my next question, what does martial arts mean to you?
Oh my gosh. Martial arts is the basis of who I am. I mean, if it wasn't for martial arts, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be so driven and like just I mean, everything all the experience that I have gained through martial arts, through like competing and losing and like working with like my other teammates, and I I don't think I would be a down to earth person that's dedicated, driven, and I mean who I am today at all, because everything is just because of martial arts. I can't even imagine not doing martial arts. I feel like if I didn't do martial arts and I went into modeling and acting, I feel like I would be one of those model actresses that would go to would move to LA and then have a normal conversation with you and be like, you don't know who I am? Like it's just not humbling whatsoever. I can't even imagine. Yeah, it's so important. I think the thing is that I mean our school dropouts, we do a lot of art choreography, but I think the whole idea is we want to bring back the love of martial arts for the art and not the violence, because in films now you just see a lot of blood and a lot of like killing and it's just aggression, but I miss the old like jokey martial arts like Jackie Chan. So
Nice. So for my next question, if you could give any advice to anyone that wants to get into acting or martial arts, what advice would you give them, and what are the positives and negatives into acting and martial arts, and how do you get through it?
wow, that's a long question. Okay, I'm okay, as somebody who works for like art school dropouts and in charge of the casting as well for anyone who's interested in getting into acting and martial arts. Like, especially if you're trying to get into acting with martial arts background, do your research. Do your research and remember to be professional. Just because, like, it's as simple as looking up who you're going to work with, or like if you want to work for a production company, at least know what they're about. It's so simple. I mean, the internet nowadays, I mean, everything is online, and it's as simple as just googling who is who, what is what. And I find that a lot of people, they become kind of lazy in that sense. And then, like, with that too, professionalism has this decline. Like, I would get messages where they're like, hey, I want to work with you. Okay. Like, are you an actor? Yeah. Do you have a reel and a headshot? Yeah. Okay, if I have to, like, pull teeth for you to present yourself in a professional way to give me the necessary assets to review, then you might want to consider, like, how you're contacting people, because you're not going to get roles that way. So I think research and professionalism. Don't be lazy with it. Really, like, look into what you want to do. And everything is online. I mean, if you want to resize an image on Instagram, like, you can just Google it. But it's those types of, like, things that people kind of, I don't know, gotten really lazy with. So I think, I mean, in any industry, you should research and be professional. But in acting, I feel like since it's there's no real criteria except for experience, and because of that, people don't really know how to, I guess, present themselves in a professional way. So I think researching will definitely help them get started. I mean, it's not like I went to acting school. I went to, like, a science school, and I graduated with a pharmaceutical and healthcare business degree. Like, there was nothing that really prepared me for acting, but it was the research that I did online that actually helped me out. So that's what I would really recommend for people to do, is just professional research. Yeah. Is there another part to that question? I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what are the positives and negatives, and how do you get through those?
Oh, positives, it's fun. I mean, like, you get to play different roles. You don't, like, I mean, you could be anybody. But the negatives, it's okay, you get typecast a lot, discrimination, and you will get a lot of no's. So you have to get, like, you have to have thick skin. I mean, you'll get 100 no's before you get one yes. And it's just, you have to be persistent. You have to constantly look for those roles. Like, last year when I was, like, really, like, trying to go for it, I would be on the computer every hour, just submitting to different roles, researching into, like, the companies, and trying to see if I could, like, kind of present myself to, so they could pick me. And I would get no's after no's after no's. Finally, I get one yes. But I mean, that's just how the industry is. So you can't really believe, like, oh my God, I could totally fit this role. But remember, it's not you, it's the director's vision. If you don't fit it, you can't be hurt by it. I mean, it's whatever they envisioned for their film. So yeah.
Awesome. So for my last question, what new projects do you have that you'd like to announce?
Oh, okay. So because of the current pandemic, it's kind of hard to produce any more projects. But luckily, like, since Joey and we are constantly working, we have, I think we have a feature film, about 3 web series, and I think, like, 3 short films that are already in pre-production. So when we are ready to start filming again, we kind of hit the ground running and start filming everything. Yeah, actually, I guess we'll plug it here. If anybody is interested in seeing or even hearing about any of these projects ahead of time, we do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/art school dropouts. So on there, I actually chat with a lot of our patrons. They get to see some behind the scenes, even content that's never been released, and they actually get a heads up of like any projects that we are currently working on and that will eventually, hopefully, be produced. So we have that. What else do we have? Yeah, because I personally have taken a step back from like acting in other people's productions just so I could focus on Art School Dropouts. So I have been like Art School Dropouts everything. So working on like our merch, working on we have a tutorial series for those that want to uh, learn how to do fight scenes, whether it's like hand to hand or gun fu. So we have those two tutorial series that is up on our website. But yeah, we're constantly busy. We're trying to constantly make content. So it's hard to say if there's like a few that we're working on. We're working on a ton.
Awesome. So I just want to say thank you so much, Stephanie, for coming onto my show. It really was everyone. Definitely go support Stephanie and Art School of Dropouts. These guys are truly incredible. And I just want to say thank you so much again, Stephanie, for appearing on my show.
Oh my gosh, thank you for reaching out to me. This was fun. I mean, I hope it brings a lot more views to your channel too. So yeah, if there's anything you need, just let me know.